Hey, what's up, you guys? Peek out here in Singapore. I wanted to jump on live real quick and talk to you guys about a situation that I keep encountering from my own personal life and then also with people around me because it seems to be an epidemic in Asia. And I feel really badly about it, but if I don't address it and put it out there, then we don't get to comment and discuss the issue itself. So basically, what I'm talking about is when people online, because you're seeing the best of everyone's life, right? Instagram, Facebook, you're really good about putting up new pictures, showing everybody that lifestyle you got going on. Maybe you're proud of your body, maybe you're proud of your makeup, maybe you're proud of your hair. You just post pictures all day long, right? But that means people get to see the best of you. They get to see who you are when you're all dolled up, when you look your absolute best, right? And people in Asia tend to decide they're going to fall for you, or they think that they're able because they can DM you right away that they can get to you and talk to you and act any kind of way because it's private, because the whole world can't see it. They've decided that this is the way they're going to act. Unfortunately, they don't deal with rejection very well either, though. These kinds of people, unfortunately, tend to do things behind the scenes. They want to confess their love to you. They want to, get to know you. They want to be your best friend. They want to marry you. And a lot of these people, and I'm telling you this because it just happened. Like, I literally just blocked this guy on Facebook and on Instagram. But I feel really badly for him because as much as he says, I'm serious, I'm not playing around, I really want to be with you, I keep telling him, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested. And all he hears is, okay, but if I came there, would you change your mind? If I changed who I am, would you change your mind? If I did everything you wanted me to do, would you change your mind? And honestly, that's not the beginning of a very good relationship, even if it is just a friendship, because that shows me that you don't love yourself enough to be able to stand your ground and be your own person. This young man is actually someone I've worked with a long time ago, and in that small space of time, I haven't spoken to him in an entire year, mind you. In that small space of time, I was able to help him, mentor him, get him excited about his work because he's a producer who likes making music. And I told him, look, if you can't make music at least one track a day, you can't tell me you love making music. So he did that for a while. He was really, really grateful. He was very happy about what he was doing. And then he kind of fell off. We stopped talking to each other. But, fast forward a year later, and all of a sudden he's back, messaging me, talking to me about music that he's created. And suddenly he wants to come to Singapore and start a life with me. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. You and I are on very, very different frequencies. He says he has never met anyone like me. Okay, fine, that's great. But you could meet someone that is like me, but not me. You've got to give me the ability to say no if you're going to ask the question, would you take me on as a husband? Because I don't think people understand the kind of commitment that goes into being married. These young boys out here are very quick to be like, okay, this girl is messaging me, she must like me. She, liked one of my pictures, she must like me. They don't know what love really is. Love can come in the form of support. Love can come in the form of a kind word every so often, but that isn't romantic love. That isn't the same thing. And because they're so missing this aspect in their life, the smallest sign of affection or concern or attention suddenly turns into love for them because they've never felt it before. And unfortunately, what tends to escalate in India is if they get rejected, after these people have been nice around them, when they get rejected, they decide they're going to destroy that person because they can't have them, so nobody else will. And you end up with acid attacks. So I'm trying to fight this growing addiction to social media because people think that that's a real connection. It's not. That person could be talking to 1,000 other people, and because they're good at customer service, they're good at human relations, they're good at speaking to people, it seems like they're interested, but they're not. Because you don't know better. Because you've never had that kind of a connection before. And that's why I'm trying to encourage people, look, get involved, get to know people again. Tinder is taking away all of that. Just like porn did way back in the beginning, that's an unrealistic view of what love should be. That's an unrealistic view of what a marriage looks like. It's never porn star material. Sometimes, maybe once in a while, but it's not always like that. You don't wake up in the morning and get it all day long. That's not the way it happens. Sometimes you got to plan for that to happen. You have work to do. You know what I mean? But the same way, Tinder has taken away the possibility of a real connection. And I don't know if that's like a corporate strategy or what, because the less we speak to each other and understand each other, the easier we are to divide. When we don't understand what the other person is going through, when we don't look at anyone outside of what they physically look like, We lose a piece of ourselves, the capability of empathy and support and real love. I can show love in 1,000 different ways. I don't have to be with you. I don't have to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your mother, your father, your sister. I don't have to be any of those things. I could be a stranger walking past you one day and show you love. Now imagine if everybody were to do that. If everybody were to show you love, you would have a higher standard for love, correct? But no, we're all silos. We go after our own stuff. We have this, dog eat dog kind of mentality that we don't have enough to share with each other. It's only enough for me to succeed, so I'm going to cut you out everywhere I can, and that way I make sure that I succeed. But that's not the case. There is enough for all of us. There is enough for all of us. We can all succeed together. Together, we'd actually succeed faster, and it would be more sustainable because we would feed each other. We would make sure all of us had enough for each other. If I looked out for you and you looked out for me, I'd never be hungry again. Neither would you, because we're honestly looking out for each other. But because of this lack mentality, because we don't think that, people could really love us because we've been taught that that's not real, unless it's in a relationship. So that when people, empaths, light workers, indigo children, star seeds, all of us come out of the woodwork and we're trying to show the world that love actually exists, people mistake it for romantic love and they tend to fall. And it's not their fault that they fall, but they're forcing a rejection. My interest in you is purely platonic. My interest in you is purely to make sure that you do the best you possibly can. The sister you never had, the big sister you never had, that's who I am. And for all of you out there who are like, oh yeah, age ain't nothing but a number, I'm not concerned with age or whatever, that's cool until you suddenly have to step up your game. And suddenly I'm a burden you have to bear. But that's not the reason I speak to you guys anyway. There are plenty of people I speak to. I have a friend of mine who, he and his girlfriend are actually trainers out in Perth. I have a new friend that I made recently who is a trainer out in London. And I met him through his rap artist friend who happens to be training under him. And I met the rap artist friend through another rap artist. So the London rap artist I met through the German rap artist. I meet a lot of people. I speak to a lot of people. And my whole goal is just encourage all of you. I'm not looking for a love connection. I never in my wildest dreams said, I'm on social media here to meet girls or meet boys or meet anyone. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here to teach you to see love so you believe in love, so you feel it everywhere. So y'all not so damn thirsty. If you got love from your family a little bit every day, you wouldn't go out looking for the first thing that even resembles a connection. You would be happy to be yourself. You can work on yourself a little bit more. When you're supported at home, you can work on yourself a little bit more. When you're not supported at home, you're looking for somewhere where you are supported. And when you find that place where it's supported, you try to make that home because you don't want to lose that. Suddenly you'll do everything you can to hold on to it, even though it's not good for you sometimes. And you make it home. You make it irreplaceable. You make it all your entire world. You build your whole world around it. And then when you find out that it's actually really toxic and it's not the right place for you because it was the first thing you ran across, you find yourself in dire straits. Now, this young man, I'm not saying he's a bad person. He's not. He just doesn't know what love is. He's never had enough of it in his life to know what love is. And I feel badly for him because I look at him like I look at my son. My son does the same thing. He's out there partying, joking, smoking, hanging out with all the girls or whatever, and that's cool for his age group. But long term, there's no connection to anyone. Sure, he has his boys, but the minute one of his boys shows a lack of loyalty, he'll cut them off. He's not going to encourage or nurture that relationship. He's not going to figure out where it went wrong and try and make it better. He's going to cut it off. We all have that excuse. We cut it off. But what do you do after that? After a while, you get tired of cutting people off. You want people to stick around. You can't say that you have friends who've been there from day one because you've cut them all off. I know that feeling because I moved around a lot. I cut people off because I couldn't keep up with them. I wish people would understand what love actually looks like. And then not all love is romantic love. Sure, you want to be in places and around people who love you and who show you affection. But that doesn't mean they want to get in your pants either. That doesn't mean they want to marry you for the rest of their life. They want to be around for you. They want to help you. They want to see you do good. But this isn't Florence Nightingale syndrome, okay? I'm here because I can. I am here because I choose to be. I'm here because I know what a life without love looks like. I know what it's like to be loved by people who are just so hurt they don't know how to love with abandon. They're so hurt that their love is conditional because they don't know what it's like to just love unconditionally. They've never had that before. How do you give something you've never had? So here I am, trying really hard to love with abandon, love without conditions, show you that love is possible. And of course, a side effect is people are going to find an excuse or a reason to attach to me, to make it into something it's not. And then, of course, this young man is going to be super upset that I didn't take him seriously and I blocked him off of all social media after I tried for a half an hour to explain to him that I don't see him that way. I see him as a younger brother type. I tried to let him down gently. I tried to be firm with my boundaries, and when he would not listen, I had to draw a line. And I warned him and I said, look, you're a cool kid. I want to help you. But I can't help you like this. So if you're not going to drop this thing about you want to live with me, you want to die with me, you want to be my everything, we can't keep talking. That's it. I hate that I have to do that, you guys. I hate that I have to block people that come in my DMs and be like, hey, girl, you're so beautiful. Thank you. I will say thank you, but sometimes that thank you is like the gateway drug for them. Oh, she responded. Let me keep on going. I had a young man I met through a group. Devin Lars has a great group. He's trying to encourage people to join a t-shirt business of his. He's trying to join artists around the world, and I think that's a major, major endeavor for him. That's great. I'm really, really excited for him. And I met a young man through there, and he and I spoke a little bit, and he told me of his troubles and how hard he's working to make sure that his life is different from everybody else. And of course, because he opened up, I opened up as well, because I didn't want him to feel like he was just sharing everything and I was not giving anything in return. So I shared a little bit too. And yeah, we became friends and we talked about a couple of things, and it was nice until he started commenting on my body. And at that point, I made sure that I responded back and left out anything body-wise about the conversation. I did not want to encourage that. And when it happened again, I just didn't respond. And lucky for him, he is intelligent enough to understand that, he crossed a line. And so he took back what he said. He deleted it. I saw it. But this is how you ruin relationships. When you don't know what to expect and you put your foot in your mouth and the other person doesn't respond, or maybe they respond, negatively, they don't like what you're saying, we don't go forward from there. We don't speak about what happened. And a lot of times, even if we do speak about what happened, the other person isn't in a place to hear it because it sounds like rejection to them. This young man I spoke to today, I was not rejecting him as a person. And that's something he needs to understand. I did not reject him as a person. I was rejecting the idea of actually getting into a relationship with him. We could still be friends, but he needs to understand there is a line there. He cannot cross that line. We don't speak enough, you guys. We don't communicate enough. We're not clear enough about what's going on. And yeah, it's scary sometimes. You put yourself out there. You muster up the courage to tell somebody you're really interested. And when they say, no, I'm not interested, or no, I don't see you that way, you decide you're going to plead your case. And I mean plead your case. He was begging me, you guys, and I felt so badly for him because how do I tell you, don't beg. You are more than begging. If I say no, it's not because I don't care about you. It's just that I don't see you in that regard. So instead of forcing the issue, take it as it is and keep moving forward. So instead of losing me completely, you lose the probability of me becoming your spouse, which honestly, the probability is very, very low for anyone on this earth at the moment because I'm not looking for anyone. I'm not interested in a spouse right now. So please, you guys, with that courage that you muster up to tell somebody you're really interested, you need to be prepared for the answer to be no as well. Yeah, you'll never know if you don't ask. But once you do know, keep your dignity. It's hard enough because there is a lack of love around. Don't force that person to cut you off completely so you don't have even that connection anymore. This is why people are depressed. This is why people are stressed out beyond belief, because they no longer understand how to interpret communication. They don't know how to not PC a conversation, as in politically correct a conversation, so they can really get to the heart of the matter. Just because you find me attractive doesn't mean I automatically find you attractive. That's not how that works. Because you see me as a potential for being a coach doesn't mean I necessarily see you as a potential client. You want to be a client of mine? I got to see a couple things. That you are asking in earnest because you really have tried everything else and you're tired of living the life that you have and you really want a change. At which point, you're going to show me that you want to do the work. It's going to be messy. Blood, sweat, and tears. We're going to cry together, probably. But with that crying comes a release. With the journaling, with the arguments, you're going to argue with me, I guarantee it. But with all of that comes a new clarity of who you are and what you believe and how that makes you see the world. Understand there is a major lack of love in this world. And because there is a major lack of love in this world, our communication kind of sucks. The way we speak to each other, the way we relay messages, the way we try to get what we want. It's all underhanded. It's all behind closed door and hushed tones so no one else knows about it. I had an old friend reconnect with me, and while at a younger age, we had a crush on each other or whatever, and we didn't know about it. When we got older, things changed. I no longer see him that way, but I do have love for him. We grew up together. For him to constantly tell me how he sees me physically is a put off. I don't enjoy it. It makes me feel like an object. So where we might have rekindled something, I don't know. There's no chance for that right now because he only sees me physically. I'm not complaining. I'm proud of the body I have. I'm proud of the face I have. I finally gotten my skin under control. But sometimes I wonder if you would take me seriously if I didn't have this face. I've asked you guys this before. If I looked different, if I sounded different, if you didn't like the sound of my voice, if you hated my accent, would you understand the message that's coming out of me? Would you understand the need for you guys to get a handle on your emotions? So you understand what dignity looks like? So you understand what communication and what love feels like because you feel it everywhere? So you don't have to go searching for it because then you don't have to be so desperate for it? I was listening to something last night where they were talking about people who, there's a surplus of people who buy bottled water every year. Millions and millions and millions of dollars go into buying bottled water, where half the world doesn't have access to clean water, and they're out here drinking mud because that's the closest thing they can get to water, and they're dying from things like dysentery and other waterborne diseases because they don't have filtration systems. Because they don't know what clean water is, they will drink from anywhere because they know their body needs water. That thirst is real. And in that same regard, we're doing the same thing. Because we don't know what love looks like. We don't understand what love really is. There are a lot of girls out here just getting pregnant because they feel like, kids, unconditional love. That'd be the only person that ever loves me. And then guess what? They make that child their whole world. And the first time there's any kind of a conflict, that child has become parent because the parent is hurt and broken and does not love unconditionally. I had that same idea. When I was younger, I used to write down a list of rules for which I would raise my child, by which I would raise my child. Of course, it was based on the things that I didn't like in my own family, but I think a lot of us did that. I had a list. And the top of that list was, it is when a child is most unlovable that they need the most love. I will not push my child away when they're acting up, was the top of that list. Why? Because I understood, because I'd been in that situation, that when I push back, it's because something inside me is not happy, does not agree with what you're trying to get me to do. And when I got older and I first got pregnant, I was like, you know what? I don't need nobody. This child will be everything for me, and I will make sure that, I love it completely and she loves me unconditionally, or he loves me unconditionally. And guess what? I didn't get to keep that child. And yes, it was also my decision. I could have fought for it, but I didn't, because I did not want to raise a child without a father present. And my boyfriend, his first reaction was, oh, well, guess I better quit football and get a job then, because my life is over. And I was like, wow, really? That's awesome. Great. I feel amazing. I know now that while I could have fought for my child, I was in no place to raise it well. And it was a terrible decision that I ever had to make. And that wasn't the first and the last time I made it either. But it is one of my regrets. But right now, I can't go back and change it. I can, however, do everything I can to make up for it, which is part of what I'm doing here. I need you guys to understand this lack of love is because we're afraid of showing love in our everyday actions. We're afraid of being loving towards our colleagues. We're afraid of being loving towards, people on the bus who look like they're broken down. All you got to do is look them in their eye and smile. Show them you saw them. I know the power of that because I've been depressed and suicidal before. I used to play a game where I'd walk through life and I'd be like, I bet you nobody notices me. I bet you nobody notices me. And of course, if that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm going to find. But then every so often I'd get somebody who just popped by and they'd sit next to me and they'd smile and they'd say something and I would comment back because I was taken aback. They saw me. They spoke to me. They noticed. I was that starved for affection. I know what it's like. And I need you guys to figure this out quickly. Love comes in many shapes and forms. Not all of it is romantic love. People who show you love don't always want something from you. They want to give because they feel good and they want to share what they feel. Laughter is meant to be contagious. Stop shushing people when you hear them laugh. Go find out what they're laughing about and laugh with them. Carry that joy in your heart everywhere you go. Y'all need to learn how to experience more and more love so you don't settle at the first opportunity you see. Sure, in the beginning of any business, you take any client you can get. But once your business starts picking up, you have the freedom to choose your clients. Same thing. When you have no money, you'll do whatever you can to get whatever food you can. You try to make it last as much as possible. And when you have more money, you have more opportunity to pick and choose what you do put into your body and what you don't. You can go for more organic, high quality stuff. But until then, you're going to get, supermarket level groceries. When you don't know enough about something, you'll settle for whatever you can get. That's not a great place to be, but it's where a lot of us start out. Stop forcing rejection. Cultivate communication skills. Cultivate the ability to show kindness and love everywhere you go. The more people that experience love, the more kinds of love you experience, the better you are at choosing the right people for you. You've seen it a million times in every damn movie and TV series. That girl or guy that's been outcast by society and they're struggling with life and they don't know what to do and they fall in with one gang of people who happens to see that they are outcasts and they need a team behind them, and maybe they have good intentions, maybe they don't. Maybe their lifestyle is great, maybe it isn't. But more oftentimes than not, you get addicted to the ability to feel like you belong to something. Pay attention, you guys. Experience as many different kinds of love as possible before you choose who you settle down with, before you choose who your friends are, before you choose who you decide to spend all your time with. When they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, take that to consideration. It's not just about what they're doing with their lives career-wise, financially. It's also how they spend their time. Are they loving, kind people? Or do they talk shit about everyone they come across? Their attitude, the way they live their life, all of that matters. They talk about when you're trying to stop drinking and stop smoking, you kind of got to get rid of all the friends that you went drinking and smoking with. Because otherwise, peer pressure, you're going to be pulled into a situation where you're going to want to do it again. You got to change everything. Change is possible. It's difficult, but it's possible. And I done talked about a whole range of situations today. At the root of it all, though, is love. Don't settle for love. Don't settle for the first thing you can find that feels kind of good. I'm not saying variety is the spice of life either, though. I'm saying understand love first. Love yourself. Love your family. Love your workplace. Love your school. Love your friends. Once you can get along with all those people, then decide who you want to settle down with. That would be my advice to you. Find a way to get along with all of those people. Master human relations. And then decide who you want to spend the rest of your life with. I love you guys. This was heavy today because it hurt me. I hate drawing lines. But I also have to protect myself. And it's not just me anymore, it's me and my kid. So this is serious. I love you guys. I want you to thrive, not just exist. Love is at the core of all of that. I believe it. I'll catch you again soon.